guys, I actually did it, man. I took the promising stairs up to the top. I had 8 different rooms, and we won the game with the alternate win con. It felt so good, dude. It felt so good. First of all, this deck is really fun to play. The actual core of the deck actually functions really, really good. It's genuinely viable. There was plenty of times I could have won with alternate means, but I ended up just wanting to go for the win con constantly. But in the process of playing this deck for a long time, I realized what's really important, and that there's honestly something here. There's something here. The other first card I'll go over before I talk more general stuff. This card here, Artist Talent, is perfect because you are sort of filtering through your deck. You're going, right, every time you cast one of these non-creature spells, one of these rooms, what have you, you're going to be filtering through. You know, it facilitates you not flooding out. If you get a bunch of mana, you don't want them, you just want to lay your rooms. Boom. It also is going to make the cost of each room less. And then that last part too, if you can get to that point where you get it to level 3, then all of a sudden your Pyroclasms are going to be doing 4 damage to each creature, right? Because it's 2 damage to each permanent from any sort of source we control. Same with Brotherhood's Ends, we do 5 to everything. So this is really nice because we have 7 cards that are essentially board wipes. Our shocks turn into 4 damage spells. And again, meanwhile, we're just filtering. It's lessening the cost of things. So let me go over some other stuff. But you know that central elevator, right? The first half will help you find a room. That's actually really, really good. Because when you built up 6 unlocked rooms and you need to find, 1 more card so you can get those 2 halves unlocked and make it 8, this will be fine to get the second copy of. But mainly, let me tell you, probably the most important room is this one. This is huge ramp. At the beginning of your first main phase, you're going to add 2 red, spend this mana to cast rooms and unlock doors. Great stuff. Ramping 2 every time. If you have 2 copies of these, then you're getting 4 mana every upkeep to just unlock all your rooms. And that second half, you'll see in the video today, I think we make like a 10-10 flyer. And it's just hilarious that it's actually a pretty decent card. It's really fun to play. Now, let me go over just a couple other things. Chromhost Shark. Really great little card. I'd probably want to run 1 more copy of this because it just gives us more board presence, especially survivability. If the shark gets destroyed, at least we get an incubate token, stalls for time, right? Really good that it doesn't die to Brotherhood Ends as well. Really cool stuff. So we are running, let me go over some more of the rooms. This is a Manifest Dread thing. The second half of this is probably the least good room half that we have. But what's really cute is it does give a target attacking creature double strike. So if you give it to your ghostly keybearer, you can actually hit twice because it's 2 instances of combat damage, unlocking a room. I've done that, unlocking 2 rooms. I've done that once. It feels really saucy. But this card is not as great as I want it to be because for 4 mana, it often just gets removed the next turn, or you can't even swing in anyway because they already laid their Aclazotes or whatever. So it's just not as good as I initially thought. I was running 4 of these in my first version of the deck. Not so great. I'll go over just a couple more cards. Well, I'll go over all of them, but hopefully I'm not going to spend too long in the intro. If you like the video at any point, or if you give it a like, I'll really appreciate it. 4 damage to any opponent. This is just a nice, decent removal spell. The second half is a way you could end up winning the game, with incremental value. But again, it's not really necessary. And yeah, it is a little bit expensive for 5. Meat Locker is cool. Actually, studying something down is a lot better than it looks. But I actually really like that the second half is 5. Especially with the ramp from, Smoky Lounge. You're going to be able to, do that reasonably. Draw 3 and then discard a card isn't so bad. Because again, we really needed to set up the thing. Especially with all of our card filtering from Artist Talent. We're going to be able to find different rooms. We're going to get, 4 different room cards that have 2 halves that we can unlock at some point. This is why we're running such a, wide variety. But anyway, this card is incredible. If I had 1 more rare, highly recommend this. So we're actually only running, so the first half is just basically going to remove anything because we're going to have a lot of cards in our hand. So that's really, really good. And then just the second half of just drawing a card each end step is really, really strong as well. So this card's amazing, probably the best room. We're running one Glassworks and one this, so those are like the 2 removal rooms. This is like our ramp creature room. Central Elevator is our win con. Bottomless Pool is also just like another copy of Into the Floodmaw, which we are running one over there. So that's really fun. And, you know, the combat dealing thing can be good. Again, just helping us find these rooms. So that's kind of all of it. Painter's Studio 2 is another really, really good room. Exiling the top 2 is almost like a draw 2. You usually hit like a land and a room. So that's good, right? Like, that's not exactly bad. The second half is just really cheap, which is nice. Because again, like, Artist Talent is making all of these cheaper. Remember that. Plus, we're getting 2 extra mana in addition to our already lessened cost in rooms. So it feels really surprisingly good. Ral fits really good in here too, because these are non-creature spells. You can make little chunk blockers to stall, helps filter, all that stuff. We're not really going to -10, but fits perfectly in this deck. So I would run like 1 Ral in here. Feels really, really good. Brass's Tunnel Grinder too, with how much we are pitching cards into the graveyard, this Tunnel Grinder can actually get to the point, right, where you're going to be able to discover X, where X is that mana value, right, when you actually cast a permanent spell. It's going to be flip over. You just need 3 instances of Descending, which is 3 cards into your graveyard from any source, essentially. And also, it's just a great draw card spell to get rid of anything that's bad. Now, there's one more card I haven't talked about that's like very room related. Hopefully my head wasn't like falling off because I got my webcam's all so screwed up. This card I wanted to be better. See, the thing about this is, right, it's essentially 4 mana to unlock a room. So yeah, that can like lessen your, like, what's a really expensive half? Like, this is a 5, so you're saving 1 mana there. The second half Tunnel of Hate here is 6, so you're saving 1 mana there. But those aren't like super important halves. So it's like, yeah, it's like you could do that, but you're also just like getting so much mana with this. You're wanting to sort of just like pitch this in the bin most of the time you get this. It's just not as good as I think it is. It's just like when you draw this, you might as well just draw another room that turn and just immediately like have, you know, getting closer to your win con, because we are trying to win with Promising Stairs, baby. That's what we're doing here. We're having fun. We ain't no mono red player with no soul that just don't hate me if you play mono red. I'm a little tilted at how 50% of my matches are mono red, or the Caretaker's Talent deck, but with the artifact that makes the haste guys. But whatever, it's totally fine. I think that this standard is so fun and so good. I'm really happy with Magic right now. I really am. So I keyed. Phantom Interference here is a great removal spell. And also just like, maybe we really just need a blocker to survive 1 more turn. So that can come in handy too. Also just gives us a mana sink. We have nothing better to do. But yeah, really good card. You know, you could run the other counter spells. Into the Floodmaw, cool. Stalling for time. So that's sort of all the cards. We are running 1 Fable just to like lessen the amount of lands we're going to draw and hopefully draw into better rooms. That's the only reason I like to run like 1 Fable passage on my decks. Demolition Field, sometimes there's a really annoying Restless Anchorage or whatever, get rid of, so that's not too bad. 2 Surveil lands will sort of just help filter, you know, what we're doing. You know, sometimes we can put runes in the bin that we just already have one on the field. So yeah, you also got to be wary of the amount of copies you have, because like sometimes like a room gets removed. So if you pitch the other one of the one you had on the field, then you won't have the ability to get another one. We are playing like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of rooms. You need 8 of those halves unlocked. So it's not too unlikely, especially with how fast we're churning through our deck. Ship and Reef, just fast lands, good stuff, so that we have, you know, our 2 red mana for Brotherhood ends, and just the ability to cast like a counterspell and maybe like, you know, one of these blue rooms. The Surveil as well from the Upkeep is like really, really good to help, again, find these things quickly. That's what we're trying to do, and we're stalling for time, and it really, really works with like Brotherhood's End, Pyroclasm, some shocks, you counter some stuff, you know, Row's doing its thing, Chrome Shark is like having some board presence, and some of these rooms are removal spells too, right? So you can't, you know, and this stalls a little bit. Maybe the copies aren't perfect. Maybe you could run like 1 less Meat Locker, maybe like 1 more of this to a little bit of card advantage. whatever. You know, this is what I ended up on after a lot of testing, and it was a lot of fun. It's honestly a really good deck, and you don't even have to, like, you could totally get rid of, like, you don't even need to go for the win con, and just take out some of the cards that are obviously in here for the win con, and just actually have a really powerful, versatile deck, right? You could have, like, more Chrome Sharks, more Rows. You wouldn't have to be playing this card. You could play, like, tons of other, you could play more counter spells, things like that. So I just hope that this was, like, a thorough, you know, if you're actually going to invest in this deck, and try to go for it, it's fun. It feels very rewarding to pull off. So thank you for all the support recently. I just hit 250 subscribers, 252 now. That feels amazing. So thank you so much, guys. Been having a lot of fun doing this, and I want to keep, you know, doing it. And it's a cool number, 250,000. So we're getting there. We're getting there. 1 million next week, baby. Let's go. So I think I might have been able to even get it a turn earlier than I got it, but I think I was trying to be, like, super safe in case, like, something got removed. Honestly, I can't even remember anymore. So anyway, guys, love you. I'm recording this super early, so if the green screen looks like poop, then yeah. Alright, guys. Peace.